Out in the Pacific Ocean, there's a ship that once sailed the high seas, carrying passengers across the world. But now it's known for something far more chilling: its haunted past. This is the true story of the RMS Queen Mary, a ship that became a ghostly vessel after days of mystery, strange occurrences, and countless reports from those who had dared to step aboard. The Queen Mary was once the pinnacle of luxury. Launched in 1936, she was a transatlantic ocean liner that carried thousands of passengers, including celebrities and dignitaries. But it wasn't just her grandeur that made the ship famous. Over the years, it became infamous for the eerie stories of paranormal activity that would follow her throughout her service, and even after she was retired. During World War II, the Queen Mary was transformed into a troopship carrying soldiers to and from war zones. It was during this time that the ship became a scene of tragedy. In 1942, while transporting soldiers, the Queen Mary collided with another ship, the HMS Curacoa. Over 300 men lost their lives that day, many of them still trapped in the cold waters. But the true terror of this event didn't end with the collision. After the war, the Queen Mary was returned to passenger service, but the stories began. Crew members reported hearing strange noises late at night, footsteps echoing in the empty halls, doors slamming shut by themselves, and mysterious cold spots that seemed to appear from nowhere. But it wasn't until the Queen Mary was decommissioned and turned into a permanent hotel and museum in Long Beach, California, that the ghost stories really began to take hold. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, paranormal investigations began at the ship, and the stories grew. One of the most famous accounts comes from a crew member named John, who worked aboard the ship in the early 70s. He was alone in the engine room one night when he heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps behind him. When he turned around, no one was there. But the most chilling part? The footsteps continued, as if something, or someone, was following him. Guests and staff alike began to report seeing apparitions, shadows moving in the hallways, a woman in a white dress wandering the decks, and the unmistakable sound of children's laughter, even though the ship was empty. But perhaps the most well-documented ghost is that of a man, thought to be a sailor who drowned during the ship's war service. His ghost has been seen near the ship's infamous Room B340. The room, it's said, is cursed. No one stays there for long. Those who have checked in report strange occurrences, lights flickering, the feeling of being watched, and even the sensation of someone breathing heavily on the back of their neck. But it wasn't just the crew and guests who experienced these hauntings. Investigators from the Ghost Adventures show spent time on the Queen Mary and captured one of the most chilling pieces of evidence, a voice that seemed to whisper, "Get out." No one was around when the voice was recorded, adding to the mystery. In addition, a team of paranormal researchers who spent the night on the ship reported feeling intense pressure in certain areas, as if they were being held down by an invisible force. And then there's the room. B340 is considered one of the most haunted spots on the ship. According to numerous reports, those who sleep there experience unsettling events. Noises coming from the walls, lights flickering, and a sudden drop in temperature. In one particularly disturbing incident, a guest staying in room B340 felt someone sit on the edge of their bed in the middle of the night. When they turned around, no one was there. The staff, well aware of the room's reputation, often warn visitors not to stay there. Even though the Queen Mary is now a museum and hotel, it's clear that the ghosts of its past still haunt its corridors. The stories of haunted rooms, shadowy figures, and chilling voices continue to this day. And while no one can scientifically prove that these spirits exist, the countless reports from guests and staff, along with the eerie atmosphere of the ship, suggest that there's something more than just a ship at sea. The Queen Mary remains a place of mystery, its haunted history preserved in the testimonies of those brave enough to experience it. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, one thing is certain: the ship still carries the weight of its past, and the spirits that roam her halls seem to be a part of that past that refuses to let go. And now, I ask you, what do you believe? Are these just stories? Figments of overactive imaginations? Or is there something more? Would you dare to walk the halls of the RMS Queen Mary, where whispers of the past still linger? Could you face the flickering lights, the sudden chills, and the shadows that seem to move on their own? The choice is yours, but remember, some questions don't have answers. Will you step into the unknown or leave the spirits waiting, forever unanswered? Think carefully, and when you're ready, the Queen Mary awaits.